Yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, you hear some of my fellow candidates say we must protect and defend human rights, but some of them have become pro-war candidates that have turned a blind eye to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. To be clear, I've been the only candidate in this race since November to publicly on my website call for a ceasefire, a two-state solution, and conditioning all military aid on upholding humanitarian rights based on the laws we already have in the books. Not only is that the only way to get hostages released, the only way to get aid to civilians, but I believe in the right and nuanced approach, which not only supports our ally Israel's right to defend itself against terrorists, but also calls out Netanyahu's apartheid regime of ethnic cleansing with no regard to civilian lives. We have to demand better. We have to uphold the laws that we already have in place. We have to condition aid, and that is the only way that we can actually start to fix this humanitarian crisis that has unfolded and continuing to unfold today. Yeah, I mean, thank you for that question. So my approach to foreign relations, foreign diplomacy is to have consistency. So yes, defending our allies, yes, protecting human rights, and to do that you need to condition any sort of military aid to any country on upholding those humanitarian rights as set by the UN, as set by the International Court of Justice, as set by our own current US laws like Leahy's laws and like regulations from the Department of State, Justice, and Defense. We are not consistent as a United States government in doing so, and that's why we have some inconsistencies with our approach to Netanyahu's apartheid regime and then Putin's regime as well. We have to be consistent, supporting our allies, but at the end of the day, protecting innocent civilians, which I think we're doing a horrible job of doing.
I believe you had a rebuttal?
Yeah, I will have to disagree with my friend Ashwani here. To equate the Putin regime with Israel, which is a democracy, a functioning democracy, the only one in the region which has opposition politics and a free press, is, I think, way off the mark, Ashwani. Second, the idea that it's all about Israel without recognizing that Hamas, as a tactic, continues to use human beings, including children, as human shields, and I hope you would support bolstering the Human Shields Act, which targets people who do that, which is a war crime in and of itself. We never talk about that, and I never hear people talk about that, but that's also outrageous.
Bruce, going to start you back and we'll allow you to respond.
I mean, you don't need a law degree to know a war crime when you see it. It's pretty clear that Netanyahu is committing war crimes. Even at least half of the Israeli people agree with that. Instead of having, just bombing hospitals, refugee camps, shooting people who are trying to get food and aid, you should have special targeted operations. Instead of calling for the exile of all Palestinians to Egypt or the Congo, actually talk about a two-state solution. This is not, you don't need a complicated degree to understand that. There is a war crime happening, and we need to stand up and have bold solutions to fight for that.
Thank you. We're going